Okay, let's see. Video ideas. What should I do? Should I do a characters in the parks? What should I do it on? No, Maleficent, please. I'll make the video right now, please.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation. Not what? Oh dear, what an awkward situation. Stand back, you fool!
I need to make this video. We all know the Mistress of Evil made her debut in the 1959 movie Sleeping Beauty. In the early days of Disneyland, Walt was actually promoting the movie in very big ways. He named the iconic castle in Disneyland Park Sleeping Beauty Castle, and inside the castle there is a walkthrough attraction made to get guests familiar with the story before the release. Sleeping Beauty was supposed to come out in 1957, only 2 years after Disneyland opened, but because of delays the movie came out in 1959. 4 years after Disneyland's opening, and 9 years after Disney announced the film. Like I said before, inside the Sleeping Beauty castle there was, and still is, but it's a different version, walkthrough attraction. In the original version, Maleficent is not really in it. All you can see is a shadow with audio of her laugh. The next version of the walkthrough looked rough. The reason Disney changed the walkthrough was because some iconic scenes from the movie were missing, because the attraction was open before the movie came out, so how did they know which scenes to put in and what not to put in? The Maleficent figure is probably the worst looking figure in this version. There's 2 times she appears in the attraction. I don't know how to describe it anymore, so just look at that. Tell me that looks good. In 2008, the final version opened. This one is very good with some amazing special effects, and the figures look amazing. Maleficent is in it quite a lot, because most of her scenes are iconic ones from the film. In 1965, Maleficent's walk-around made her debut at Disneyland in Fantasy on Parade. Around that time, villains didn't really have meet and greets. They didn't make a lot of appearances, because people had the mindset of Disneyland is a happy place, and villains shouldn't make appearances because they might scare kids, or they aren't popular characters. Well, that was very wrong, because villains are popular characters, and Maleficent has become a popular character. So in 1983, she made another appearance in Disneyland. It was the opening of New Fantasyland at Disneyland. Before they finished Fantasyland, it was a mix of different things. But in '83, they made it the way Walt wanted it to be. Anyway, there was a big show for the opening, but Maleficent crashed the big event. She rose from the ground on a cherry picker with a black robe on and horns that look like they're 50 inches tall. She then curses Disneyland. Yikes. Also in 1983, a parade called Flight of Fantasy opened, and Maleficent had a float in it. It's a really cool float with a blow-up dragon and Diablo. A little foreshadowing on what will come to the Magic Kingdom. In 1990, Maleficent made an appearance in the Disney sing-along songs Disneyland Fun. She was in the Grim Grinning Ghost segment.
Grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
I don't know why her face paint is so wet in the video, and I don't really know why I'm talking about this VHS since it isn't in the park. But what Maleficent would be in next definitely is in Disneyland and Disney World. It's Fantasmic. Fantasmic was and still is a smash success, debuting in 1992. I have a full video on Fantasmic, but in Maleficent's segment of the show, she curses the show and transforms into a fire-breathing dragon. In the original version of the show, the dragon was basically a head on a cherry picker. much like the dragon we have in Disney World today, although there are rumors of a new dragon for Disney World. In 2009, Disneyland's Fantasmic, the Maleficent part of the show, was updated. This made the segment the best and most famous part of the show. When the new dragon debuted, it was a 45-foot tall, fully operational, animatronic, fire-breathing dragon. Fantasmic came over to Disney World in 1998. This segment is exactly the same, except the dragon is more like the original Disneyland one. Over in Tokyo Disneyland, they had a nighttime parade called Fantalusion. It was a lot like Spectrum Magic, but had a similar story to Fantasmic. Maleficent's float was much darker, with purple colors making her seem very evil. This is the time that Disney started using Maleficent a lot more in different shows around the parks when they needed a villain segment. Well, they needed villains for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which started in 1995 and featured Maleficent heavily. She is in the Boo to You parade, where in the villain section of the parade, she has a magnificent float. She is in the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. She was in a castle stage show called the Disney Villains Mix and Magic. She also meets and greets guests in the party sometimes. I said before Disney started using Maleficent in a lot more stuff around this time. And here we go. In 2006, Dream Along with Mickey debuted on the castle stage. This classic stage show had Maleficent in it when she curses Magic Kingdom. She does a lot of cursing around Disney parks. But the power of dreams is too much and defeats her. Disneyland Paris was following the trend by having a terrifying villain float in the Disney's Once Upon a Dream parade. Interestingly, Maleficent debuted a new look by not wearing her iconic green skin and black robes. Instead, she was wearing a red robe that looked like fire. In 2010, Hong Kong Disneyland's Halloween parade called Haunted Halloween Event had a stage show that was actually all Maleficent themed. Plus, Maleficent was projected onto the castle during the fireworks show. Disney Cruise Line was even guilty of the Maleficent craze. They debuted an all-villain show called Villains Tonight, all about Hades trying to be more evil after being defeated by Hercules. To do so, he recruits a bunch of villains to fill up his evil-ometer. One of those villains is Maleficent. She appears with the evil queen and has a boo-off to see who's the most evil. It's also said that Maleficent is going to cast away Key with Hades? It opened in 2010. 4 years later, in 2014, Maleficent, starring Angelina Jolie, opened in theaters to a great box office and mixed reviews. I don't really remember it, mainly because I haven't seen it in 8 years, so that might help. 2014, Maleficent started regular meet and greets after the movie came out. She even made an appearance during the highly anticipated Villains Unleashed After Hours event in 2014. Well, that's not true, because they did unleash the villains in 2013 with 13 villains in Disney's Hollywood Studios. In the 2013 event, everything was 13. If I remember correctly, it was near Friday the 13th. It was in 2013, so they had 13 rare villains come out. But Maleficent was there, of course. She was the last to be introduced during the show, because she is the Mistress of Evil. During the night, they had a band playing, meet and greets, and a fireworks display. The next year, they renamed it to Villains Unleashed, and this time, 50 villains were there that night. Maleficent was again the last to be announced during the opening show, and when she was on the screen, she didn't come on the stage first, she was on the screen. She announced that Villainy in the Sky fireworks show would be taking place later in the night. When it was time for the fireworks, Maleficent would take the stage in her outfit that looked like the 2014 movie. The year before, she had her 59 outfit on, and bestowed the gift of fireworks on the event. Let me tell you something. This event was monumental in me becoming a Disney fan when I was a kid. Even though I wasn't actually there, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, with all the characters and the fireworks, which were probably the best fireworks, display of fireworks ever seen in a Disney park. Speaking of amazing Disney park moments, in 2014, the Festival of Fantasy started in the Magic Kingdom. The parade would have different sections in it, like the Princess Unit, the Tangled Unit, the Little Mermaid Unit, Peter Pan, Brave Unit, and the Sleeping Beauty Unit, where the Maleficent dragon made an appearance. This dragon is 35 feet long and 26 feet tall, and breathes fire. This dragon also made an appearance during the Disney Villains After Hours event. The dragon is now known as the Malfunction Dragon since it did catch fire in May 2018 and was absent from the parade until January 2019. When the Disney parks closed in 2020 because of the virus, the Festival of Fantasy and Fantasmic, of course, stopped. Disney reopened later that year. Parades were replaced with cavalcades, and Fantasmic remained closed. As a matter of fact, these shows stayed closed until 2021, then 2022. The dragon could be seen backstage on the run track for Run Disney. Later that January, Festival of Fantasy would be confirmed to return in March. Fantasmic has had a different story. It has been confirmed to be returning to Disneyland, but has not been confirmed to return to Disney World. But it is rumored that Maleficent segment and the whole show will get an overhaul. The Maleficent segment, of course, with a new dragon, and the rest of the show having more movies in it. I just can't wait. I look forward to seeing Maleficent in the parks very soon. As you might have noticed, we did rebrand the channel a little bit, drop the Disney name. Now it's just Diz, so I can sell merch easier without getting in trouble with the Disney brand. And I don't want to get sued, so that's good. And with that, I hope you all have a magical day.